A new chapter has begun at Ibrox, and like any true rebuild, it's already demanding bold, uncomfortable decisions. For Rangers fans hoping for a smooth start to the Russell Martin era, reality has hit fast and hard, just days into the new campaign. The new manager is making waves, and not just on the pitch. Behind the scenes, it's becoming clear that no one is safe. Names that were once seen as untouchable are suddenly facing an uncertain future, and Martin's early moves signal that reputation alone won't be enough to earn a place in this squad. The clearest message, yet standards are rising, and if you can't keep up, you're out. The tone was set in the wake of a frustrating opening day draw against Motherwell. It's the third year in a row that Rangers have failed to start the Scottish Premiership with a win, and this one stung in a different way. Despite taking the lead with a first-half header from James Tavernier, the team allowed a late equalizer from Emmanuel Longo that turned excitement into exasperation. And while the fans left Fir Park with more questions than answers, Russell Martin didn't waste time with sugarcoating. His post-match interview was anything but diplomatic. Speaking bluntly, Martin accused his players of being outworked and lucky. To escape with even a point. It wasn't just frustration, it was a statement. He warned that there will be players left behind if they don't understand what it means to play for this club. That's not a passing comment, that's the line in the sand. And suddenly speculation is swirling around key figures in the squad. One of the names now under intense scrutiny is midfielder Nico Raskin. Raskin, once seen as a central piece in Rangers' rebuild, started the match but struggled to leave any kind of meaningful impact. The Belgian playmaker failed to register a single shot on target, created just one chance, and lost more duels than he won. According to statistical data from FOTMob, he only won one of his 3 tackles and failed to win a single aerial duel. For a midfielder expected to dictate the tempo and drive the team forward, it was an invisible performance. And in this new regime, there's little tolerance for passengers. Back in June, reports suggested that Rangers would be willing to listen to offers in the region of £20 million for Raskin. At the time, it felt like speculative talk. Now it feels like the door might actually be open, with interest from clubs across Europe already surfacing. Martin's no-nonsense approach could push this move forward faster than expected. And while Raskin's technical ability is clear, he contributed goals and assists last season, the manager appears more interested in mentality than flair. If a player doesn't fit the system, if he can't match the intensity Martin demands, then even a fan favorite can be moved on. Meanwhile, amidst all this drama, there's also fresh hope coming through the front door. Rangers completed the signing of Finnish winger Oliver Antman in a £3 million move that shows real intent. Antman arrives from the Dutch side Go Ahead Eagles and becomes the 9th edition of the summer window. While the league opener left fans disappointed, the Champions League qualifier against Victoria Plzen looms as a shot at redemption, and Antman is hoping to be thrown straight into the action. Speaking to Rangers TV, the 23-year-old made it clear he's ready to go. When I first heard Rangers were interested, I was excited because this is a huge club, he said. You don't get many opportunities like this in your life. And that sense of hunger might be exactly what Martin wants to inject into his team. Antman's had a full preseason, played 5 friendlies, and completed a 90-minute game just recently. He says he's match fit and mentally locked in, eager to settle in Glasgow and get started. He hasn't even stepped inside Ibrox yet, but he's already bought into the culture, the pressure, and the weight of the shirt. Antman also reached out to Mohamed Al-Mandai, a former teammate from the days in Denmark at FC Nordsjælland. Mandai's glowing feedback helped seal the deal. For Martin, it's a signing that ticks several boxes: pace, versatility, and most importantly, the right attitude. As Rangers look to bounce back from domestic disappointment, having players who are aligned from day one will be crucial. Still, as one, Dar opens, another closes, and another departure is on the cards. Ridvan Yilmaz, once seen as a long-term solution at left back, now looks set to return to Turkey. His time in Glasgow has been marked by injuries, inconsistency, and unmet expectations. Originally signed from Besiktas in 2022 with plenty of hype, Yilmaz never fully adjusted to the physical demands of Scottish football. Now, under Russell Martin's leadership, he's fallen completely out of the picture. The 23-year-old was among a group of players told to train separately from the first team during preseason. That kind of message is impossible to ignore. It's a clear sign you're not in the manager's plans, and now reports out of Turkey suggest Besiktas are close to finalizing a deal to bring him back. Their club president has even gone on record to confirm negotiations are in the final stages. Yilmaz made 74 appearances in a Rangers shirt and even showed flashes of promise, most notably during a solid performance at right back in an Old Firm match last January. But those moments were rare. In a squad now being rebuilt around power intensity and reliability, Yilmaz simply doesn't fit. Adding to the pressure is the rise of new signing Yefte, who has quickly locked down the left back role. With Max Aarons covering the right flank, there's little room for compromise. Yilmaz's technical ability was never in doubt, but Martin is building a side that reflects his own identity as a player. Strong-willed, tough, and relentless. That profile doesn't leave space for soft spots, and Yilmaz's likely departure clears the path for a more tactically balanced backline. It also brings flexibility. With Yilmaz gone, Aarons could return to his natural right-back role, and James Tavernier could be shifted permanently into a central defensive position, a move the club has quietly considered for some time. These aren't just individual stories. They're all part of a bigger picture, a squad being torn down and rebuilt with purpose. For years, Rangers fans have demanded not just results, but a team that reflects the club's values, hard-working, determined, and unified. Russell Martin has heard that call loud and clear, and while the transition might be rocky, he's clearly not afraid to make tough calls. His comments after the Motherwell match weren't just frustration boiling over. They were calculated. This is a manager who knows what he wants and isn't wasting any time getting there. Whether it's dropping key names, promoting youth, or demanding intensity from every training session, Martin is showing that sentimentality has no place in his Ibrox. The players are being told in no uncertain terms, play for the badge or pack your bags. Tonight's Champions League clash against Victoria Plzeň comes at a crucial time. Not just because of what's at stake in Europe, but because of what it means for the mood around the club. The supporters are restless. The atmosphere is tense. And if results don't start coming fast, things could get ugly. That's why Martin's ruthless streak might actually be what Rangers need right now. He's pulling the squad into line, demanding accountability and laying the foundation for a team that doesn't fold under pressure. And make no mistake, that pressure is building. From boardroom decisions to tactical tweaks, from Ant-Man's debut to Raskin's possible exit, from defensive reshuffles to returning fan expectations, everything is in motion. The club is moving quickly, and only those who can keep up will be part of the journey. As Rangers prepare to walk out under the lights of Ibrox tonight, every detail matters. The opponent is Victoria Plzeň, and the stakes could not be higher. It's not just about Champions League qualification anymore. This has become a test of character, leadership, and belief. For a squad in flux and a fan base brimming with frustration, tonight's result has the potential to either steady the ship or tip it into stormy waters. All eyes are on how Russell Martin's men will respond, not just tactically, but mentally. And make no mistake, this dressing room is under the microscope. What makes this fixture even more crucial is the underlying pressure building behind closed doors. The mood at the training ground has shifted. Players have been put on alert. Every mistake is being analyzed, every training session monitored with intensity. This is no longer a squad where anyone can coast on past performances or name recognition. Martin is demanding presence, consistency, and a relentless drive. Those who aren't meeting those standards have already started to feel the consequences, either through isolation or in some cases a push toward the exit door. It's not personal, it's professional. The club is no longer in the business of carrying passengers. One of the clearest signals of that came just weeks ago when several senior players were instructed to train away from the main group. It wasn't a leak. It wasn't speculation. It was fact. Ridvan Yilmaz, Ben Davies, Leon King, Kieran Dowell, Jose Cifuentes, and Clinton Inciala were all separated from the core of the squad, effectively told they weren't part of Martin's long-term plans. For fans who've watched these players pull on a shirt in competitive matches, sometimes big ones, it was a jarring development. But to Martin, it was simply the beginning of a culture shift. The message was this: no matter what you've done before, your spot is no longer safe. In Yilmaz's case, that departure appears imminent. The Turkish international, once welcomed to Glasgow with fanfare and lofty expectations, is now packing his bags for a return to Besiktas. It's a move that's been months in the making, but only became real once a new manager made his stance. Leah! Martin wants a physically dominant, tactically disciplined back four. And Yilmaz, for all his talent with the ball, never quite fit that mold. Injuries, inconsistent form, and difficulty adapting to the Scottish game ultimately proved too much to overcome. The flashes of brilliance were there, especially in some high-pressure fixtures, but not often enough to stake a claim for regular minutes. With Jefte making the left-back position his own and Max Aarons offering flexibility on the right, the need for Yilmaz simply evaporated. It's a theme we're seeing repeated across multiple positions. Players who once looked like sure starters are now battling just to stay relevant. Nico Raskin's situation is a prime example. When he arrived, he was touted as a midfielder with bite vision and the ability to control the tempo, but his showing against Motherwell was a far cry from that profile. Losing key battles in midfield, showing minimal impact in possession, and fading. As the match progressed, these aren't the kind of performances that will win you trust in Russell Martin's side. And the timing couldn't be worse. With clubs circling and Rangers reportedly open to offers around the £20 million mark, it's starting to feel like the Belgians' time at Ibrox might be nearing its conclusion. Raskin's potential. Exit will create a noticeable gap in creativity and ball progression, but it might be one Martin is willing to accept if it means reinforcing the collective strength of the team. His blueprint is becoming clearer. With every passing week, he wants warriors, not wanderers. Players who won't shrink when the pressure mounts. Players who understand that wearing the Rangers badge isn't just about technical flair or past achievements. It's about showing up every day with the right mentality. That brings us back to tonight. Victoria Plizen may not carry the same brand power as other European giants, but underestimating them would be a fatal error. They're organized, experienced, and have a track record in European competitions that commands respect. For Martin, this is more than just a tactical battle. It's a chance to lay down a marker. A convincing performance won't just move Rangers closer to the group stages of the Champions League. It would send a message to fans, critics, and rivals that this new era is more than just talk. And this is where Oliver Antman comes back into focus. The Finnish winger represents more than just a new signing. He symbolizes the kind of profile Martin is actively pursuing. Young, hungry, physically ready, and eager to prove himself on a bigger stage. Ant-Man has spoken openly about how excited he is to be at Rangers. He hasn't even stepped onto the Ibrox turf yet, and already he's talking like someone who understands what the club represents. He's done a full preseason, played multiple friendlies, and logged 90-minute matches. There are no excuses. If selected, he's ready, and that kind of commitment is exactly what supporters want to see right now. Meanwhile, inside the club, there's growing recognition that the current rebuild is more layered than some expected. It's not just about bringing in talent or offloading underperformers, it's about resetting the culture. There's a desire to get back to basics, to reintroduce an intensity and pride that's been missing in key moments over the last few seasons. Martin isn't trying to copy past managers. He's carving his own path, and it starts with accountability. That's why every interview, every training clip, every selection choice feels significant. He's building a squad in his image, and that requires tough calls, unpopular decisions, and occasionally saying goodbye to players with potential who simply don't match the project's direction. Supporters may be divided on some of these exits, especially if players like Raskin or Yilmaz move on without immediate replacements announced. But what's becoming clearer with each week is that Martin is working to a plan. There's no panic, no chaos, just firm decisions made early to avoid long-term stagnation. This isn't about playing favorites. It's about progress. And while questions remain about depth, consistency, and the true ceiling of his team, what can be questioned is the intent. From the boardroom to the touchline, there's a collective effort to make Rangers harder to beat, mentally stronger, and more cohesive on the pitch. The fans, as always, are watching closely. They've seen rebuilds before. They've seen managers come and go. But what they want now is belief. Something real they can get behind. Martin knows this. That's why he's not wasting time with promises. He's trying to show it through action. Tonight's performance, good or bad, will speak. volumes. If Rangers come out with intensity, purpose, and clarity, it won't just improve their chances of progressing in Europe. It will validate the direction this club is taking. But if they falter, if the same issues from the Motherwell game resurface, if the squad looks disjointed or complacent, then the murmurs of discontent will grow louder. Because right now, every result carries weight. Every decision matters. What happens on the pitch tonight could influence what happens off it tomorrow. Transfers, tactics, trust. All of it is hanging in the balance. And for the players who do step out under the Ibrox lights, this is more than just a match. It's an audition, a test, a chance to prove they belong in this new Rangers. Some will rise to the challenge, others won't. And when the dust settles, Russell Martin will be one step closer to knowing exactly who's coming with him on this journey and who's not. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. James Bisgrove, the former CEO of Rangers Football Club, has stirred a storm across Scottish football with a sensational revelation that has left fans, pundits, and insiders in a state of disbelief. In what many are calling one of the boldest critiques of a club executive in recent memory, Bisgrove reportedly voiced sharp dissatisfaction with the direction and internal dynamics of the Rangers hierarchy. Sources close to the matter have hinted at a growing frustration behind the scenes, suggesting that Bisgrove's decision to step away from his role may not have been solely professional, but deeply personal and rooted in footballing principles. Though he refrained from naming individuals directly, the undertone of his comments allegedly point toward an organization struggling with identity, vision, and cohesion. As whispers grow louder, questions are being asked about who within the club may have been the target of his veiled critiques and what this means for the future of Rangers. With fans emotionally invested in the club's every move, Bisgrove's words, whether deliberate or leaked, have opened the door to speculation that something far deeper may be amiss within the Ibrox corridors. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the rumor mill across Scottish football is working overtime. Adding to the intrigue, some insiders suggest that Bisgrove's remarks were not merely an outburst, but rather a calculated move designed to highlight long-standing issues that have plagued Rangers for seasons. It's believed he voiced concerns regarding a lack of long-term strategy, a muddled recruitment policy, and internal disagreements about the club's broader ambitions. The speculation also touches on his dismay with the team's recent performances on the pitch, which, despite significant investment, have failed to match the expectations of the Ibrox faithful. As fans dissect his statements, many wonder if Bisgrove's frustration mirrors a deeper sentiment shared by other senior figures, both past and present, who have come and gone under mysterious circumstances. Could there be a pattern emerging? One that suggests systemic dysfunction masked by sporadic success? Although no formal press conference has clarified his intent, sources maintain that his comments were laced with meaning. Some even speculate that Bisgrove might be eyeing a return to football administration elsewhere, where his vision could be realized more freely. For now, the lack of transparency from Rangers only fuels further conjecture. What's clear is that Bisgrove's critique, whether intended or not, has rattled the club's foundations and reignited old debates. Notably, Bisgrove's remarks come at a time when Rangers are in a period of transition, having recently reshuffled their management and football operations teams. This context gives even greater weight to his statements, as they may suggest underlying instability that is yet to surface publicly. According to unnamed sources, Bisgrove was reportedly unhappy with decisions that contradicted his recommendations, especially regarding player signings and long-term development plans. There are murmurs that he felt sidelined by footballing, voices within the boardroom who prioritize short-term fixes over sustainable growth. If these whispers are accurate, it may point to a deeper philosophical divide at the heart of Rangers, a clash between progressive ideals and traditionalist approaches. Some fans, eager for clarity, have taken to online forums to demand transparency from the board, while others caution against jumping to conclusions without concrete evidence. Yet, in the world of football, perception often becomes reality, and Bisgrove's words, whether cryptic or candid, are now being dissected from every angle. As supporters wrestle with the implications, there's a palpable sense that more revelations may soon follow. In the absence of official comment, speculation remains the driving force behind the growing controversy. What adds another layer of complexity is the timing of Bisgrove's statements, which arrive just as Rangers prepare for a crucial campaign, both domestically and in European competition. The unease his comments have generated threatens to overshadow pre-season optimism and could potentially unsettle a squad that was already under pressure to deliver silverware. Reports suggest that certain players and staff are privately unsettled by the uncertainty, and some have begun to question the stability of the club's leadership. It's even been suggested that rival clubs have taken notice, with whispers of potential poaching of talent or leveraging the apparent disunity for strategic advantage. Could Bisgrove's outburst be the first domino in a broader internal reckoning? Or is it simply the cathartic release of a frustrated executive who felt unheard and unappreciated? Either way, his words have introduced an uncomfortable narrative. At a pivotal moment in the club's calendar, fans are split, some applauding him for speaking uncomfortable truths, others accusing him of disloyalty. As the club remains silent, the rumor mill only grows more feverish. Whatever the truth, Bisgrove's comments have clearly struck a nerve and are unlikely to be forgotten soon. Despite the firestorm, there are those within Scottish football who argue that Bisgrove's comments may ultimately be a blessing in disguise, a necessary spark that forces Rangers to confront uncomfortable realities. Some view his critique as an opportunity for introspection and reform, especially if the board chooses to respond with action rather than silence. Already there are murmurs of emergency meetings and potential reviews of current structures and strategies. Could this be the moment where the club finally embraces transparency and sets a new course? Alternatively, if leadership continues to deflect or downplay the controversy, they risk alienating a fan base that is growing increasingly vocal in its demand for accountability. As rival clubs watch keenly from the sidelines, the spotlight remains firmly on Ibrox. Whether Bisgrove intended it or not, he has reignited a conversation about ambition, identity, and integrity at one of Scotland's most historic football institutions. The coming weeks may be decisive, not just for the direction of the club, but for how Rangers are perceived in the wider landscape of the sport. And until the full story emerges, one thing is certain: Scottish football will continue to buzz with speculation, suspicion, and the hope that out of this turbulence, something stronger might yet be born. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.